Okay, so I'm John Harrison. I'm with Open Slate. I'm running for Vice President of Programming. And I guess I just want to talk to you all about a few things, that some of the reasons why I'm running, some of our platform issues. One of the big things that we've been talking about a lot has been over-programming. And one of the ways that we really want to try to combat that is by getting similar organizations to be in conversation with one another beforehand, like a cappella groups getting together, trying to figure out when they are going to schedule having a concert or something like that to see if they can combine, or having them appropriately spaced out so the people who are interested in attending those, don't have them all happening in a certain amount of time. So trying to collaborate amongst those groups, but at the same time prioritizing those certain events, that are the big ones like Dance Marathon, Wild, Diwali, stuff like that, to have that prioritized before each semester begins, so that when other groups look at getting their smaller programs, they'll understand where they fit in terms of larger scale programs, and so that those large scale programs don't overlap. Also, we want to bring back Thursday night clubs. That was a really popular event that took place during half my freshman year that ended when Sammy got kicked off campus. And we want to bring that back by providing the buses to take them to the clubs, but then letting a different student group provide the club experience every single week. So they would manage that, get to keep some of the profits. It would go into their fundraising, and that would be part of that. And then also we want to increase speaker funding by $100,000 for 2 to 3 big speakers for this coming year. So basically, instead of having several small speakers, we would have just a few very big names that everyone could gather around.
A lot of groups really rally around their small speakers, and it doesn't attract a very niche audience. How do you balance those two, and what do you say to some of those smaller groups who will be getting their speakers cut as a result of this?
Well, I don't necessarily think that we would have to cut all of those small speakers. The thing is that we want to try to create, the atmosphere that was around when, say, a Karl Rove came or Ron Jeremy came. There was the thing that every single student was kind of talking about, that it was something that everyone was getting excited about. Those speakers will still be kept. People will still have access to getting those speakers. It's not that we're taking the entire funding for speakers and consolidating it just into these 2 to 3. This would be a separate fund to be created just for these 2 to 3 speakers. So we would try to maintain those speakers, because for those student groups, for the people that are involved with those, I realize those are important speakers, and we would want to keep as many of those as possible. But at the same time, there are cuts budget cuts getting taken across campus, and we want to try to utilize any funding that we have to have the greatest impact on campus.
What group do you think has done a really effective job at programming this year, and why have they been so effective at it?
I'll tell you a group that's really impressed me, especially because they're relatively new, is WooSlam. The Grand Slam, I think it had several hundred people come this year and last year as well. I know they've been around, they might have been started last year. And I know that every single one of their events, they've been getting more and more people. And they particularly have impressed me as someone who's been on the outside of student union, and just seeing the groups who have been putting on events and stuff that I know about that has been taking place, that people have been getting particularly excited. That's just the one that just comes off the top of my head.
Well, you said that you are moving into SU from CS40, and obviously you haven't been vice president before.
No.
Yeah, obviously. What are you gonna have to learn if you're coming in?
A lot. I mean, just as soon as I started this campaign, I didn't really know that much about Student Union, and Student Union is a big organization, to say the least. And it has got a lot of different parts to it, and I mean, just, watching the DAC try to go through all the procedures and all that business, I mean, there's a lot of complications to it. But the thing is that I'm diving right into it. I'm not afraid to ask questions, and I'm excited about doing this. And the thing is that CS40 is a programming body, and so as vice president of programming, I've had that experience of doing just that. And so, while I will say that it is a weakness not being as familiar with SU. It's also, it doesn't necessarily hurt me that much, I don't think, because for vice president of programming, when it comes to programming, I've had that experience. So I've been there and I've done that.
Do you see student union putting on programs or acting more as a catalyst to other groups?
I see it as more of a catalyst. I think student union is a way, my role would be to try to get student groups to be in conversation with one another with what they're doing. For instance, first semester this past year, I worked with CS40 to collaborate with all the cultural groups on campus to for the first time to bring about this event called World Fair, where the student group, the cultural groups, put on their booths where students could come and interact, learn about their group early on to see if they wanted to be involved. We also worked with freshman class council to create a contest to increase the participation by students. So, right there, it's three different areas collaborating, and that's more of how I see SU's role, is to facilitate this collaboration in order to make more effective programs.
One big thing about your slate is school spirit and the Watch You Fight song. Do you know what it is?
Cody's trying to teach it to me. It's actually surprisingly long and complicated, to be honest with you. But I was at the basketball game last time, and all the Phi Delta guys came down and started doing it. I joined them. I don't know it by heart yet.
That's fine.
I'll get back to you, though.